The Galactic Tribunal had never seen anything quite like the humans before. When the colony ship Perseverance crashed on Zelda Prime, the ruling Council of Species have one simple decree: the survivors could earn their right to remain through the trial of worth, or they would be expelled to the void between stars. Maisie Chen stood in the preparation chamber, her calloused hands wrapped in the traditional ceremonial cloth. Around her, representatives from a dozen species prepared for the trial ahead, each one larger, stronger, or more naturally armed than she was. The Crethan delegate possessed chitin armor that could deflect plasma rounds. The Vorish warrior had for arms, each ending in razor-sharp talons. Even the typically peaceful Luminari had brought their champion, whose crystalline body could refract energy attacks. "You should withdraw," said Ronnie, his voice tight with worry as he adjusted the cloth around her knuckles. He was her oldest friend, the colony's chief engineer, and the only person who had argued against her volunteering. "This isn't worth dying for, Maisie. We'll find another planet." She flexed her fingers, feeling the familiar stretch of tendons and muscle. "There are 217 people on our ship, Ronnie. Half of them are children. We don't have fuel to reach another habitable system." Her dark eyes met his. "Besides, the rules are clear: no weapons, no armor, no technological enhancement. For once, we're on even ground." Ronnie's jaw clenched. He knew that tone. She'd used it when she decided to join the colony expedition despite having no formal training. She'd used it when she volunteered to repair the external hull during the meteor storm that eventually doomed their ship. Maisie Chen didn't back down. "Even ground." He gestured toward the Crethan, whose natural body was a weapon itself. "How is that even?" "Because I have something they don't." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "I have everything to lose." The gates opened, and the 10 champions entered the arena of proving. The structure was ancient, carved from the living stone of Zelda Prime itself. Holographic displays showed the scene to billions across the galaxy. The trial of worth was the highest form of entertainment, a spectacle that determined which species were worthy of the Council's protection. The rules materialized in the air, written in glowing script that translated to each competitor's native language. No weapons, no lethal force. Last 3 standing earn their species petition. Victory through surrender, incapacitation, or exit from the ring. Maisie didn't focus on the words. She'd memorized them weeks ago. Instead, she watched the other competitors, reading their body language, their stance, their breathing. This was what made humans different: not strength or speed or natural weapons, but the ability to adapt, to learn, to read an opponent. The gong sounded. The Vorish warrior moved first, all 4 arms sweeping toward the nearest competitor, a Grulian whose thick hide had protected his ancestors from volcanic eruptions. The impact sounded like a thunderclap. The Crethan charged at the Luminari, seeking to shatter crystal with chitin. Maisie moved along the perimeter, staying low, conserving energy. Ronnie had argued for weeks that she should strike first, establish dominance. But Maisie understood something fundamental about survival. Sometimes the prey that lived longest wasn't the fastest or strongest, but the one that knew when to hide and when to hunt. 3 competitors fell in the first 2 minutes. The Grulian's thick hide meant nothing when the Vorish warrior found the soft tissue beneath his jaw. A Xylian whose defense mechanism involved toxic secretions was disqualified. When the referees detected chemical warfare, the Luminari shattered, beautiful and tragic, under the Crethan's relentless assault. 7 remained, then 5. The Vorish warrior turned his attention to Maisie. 4 arms meant for different angles of attack, for different speeds, for different problems to solve simultaneously. In the viewing chamber, Ronnie gripped the railing hard enough to leave dents in the metal. Maisie didn't run. She studied the pattern of his strikes. Upper left led, lower right followed, creating an opening near his center mass for exactly half a second. Human brains processed patterns faster than almost any species in the known galaxy. It was how primitive humans had survived against creatures with superior physical abilities. She waited for the pattern to repeat. Upper left, lower right, step inside his guard. Her hand, those supposedly fragile human hands, struck upward at the soft joint, where his 3rd arm connected to his thorax. The Vorish warrior roared, stumbling back. Maisie didn't celebrate. She'd learned long ago that mercy was sometimes just slow cruelty. She swept his legs, all four of them using his own momentum against him. When he hit the ground, she applied pressure to the nerve cluster Ronnie had helped her identify in the anatomical database. The Vorish warrior tapped the ground. Surrender. 4 remained. Then 3. The Crethan faced her across the arena. His chitinous armor was nearly impenetrable, his strength 5 times her own. In the galleries, the betting odds heavily favored him. Humans were unknown, unproven. This was a fluke, they said. She'd gotten lucky. But Maisie knew better. Luck was preparation meeting opportunity, and she'd been preparing her whole life. The Crethan charged, relying on his armor to protect him. Maisie sidestepped, not trying to match strength with strength. Instead, she observed. Chitin was strong, but inflexible at the joints. It could withstand impact, but not sustained, focused pressure. She became a ghost, dodging, wearing him down. Every time he turned, she was elsewhere. Every charge wasted energy he couldn't recover. Humans had evolved as persistence hunters. They couldn't outrun prey over short distances. But over time, their endurance was unmatched. 20 minutes passed. The Crethan's movements slowed. Maisie's breathing was controlled, measured. She'd run marathons on Earth for fun. This was just another kind of race. When he overextended on a strike, she grabbed his arm and used his own momentum to spin him. Her hands found the gap between his chest and back plates, fingers pressing into the vulnerable flesh beneath. The Crethan tried to shake her off, but she held on with a grip strengthened by years of climbing, building, surviving. He collapsed to one knee, exhausted and unable to continue. The arena fell silent as the final gong sounded. 3 remained standing: Maisie, a Thalaxian whose magnetic field had kept others at bay, and Adreni, whose 6 legs gave him superior balance. The holographic display showed the results. Humanity's petition was granted. The colony could stay. In the viewing chamber, Ronnie was surrounded by cheering colonists, but his eyes never left Maisie. She stood in the center of the arena, unwrapping the cloth from her hands, and he saw what the galaxy would learn in time. Humans didn't need natural weapons. They had hands that could build, hold, comfort, and when necessary, fight. They had minds that could adapt to any challenge. They had hearts that refused to surrender. The Council had asked what made humanity worthy of joining the galactic community. Maisie Chen had shown them.